Welcome to our session on wet and dry standpipe fire lines. We are going to cover how these critical safety systems work, where they are used, and the key differences between them. Let's start by comparing standpipe systems to automatic sprinklers. Sprinklers are automatic and activate directly over a fire. Standpipes, however, are manual. They provide a water supply that trained personnel or building occupants must access using a hose to actively fight the fire. A wet standpipe system is exactly what it sounds like. The pipes are constantly filled with pressurized water. The biggest advantage here is instant reliability. Open the valve and water flows immediately. However, because water is always in the pipes, they cannot be installed in unheated areas due to freezing risks. Plus, if there's a leak, you have to shut down the entire system to fix it, temporarily leaving the building without fire protection. To solve the freezing issue, we use dry standpipe systems. These pipes stay empty until a fire alarm or pressure drop opens a remote valve to let water in. Sometimes they aren't even connected to a permanent water supply and rely entirely on the fire department's pumper truck. The obvious benefit is no freezing and no unexpected water damage from leaks. The downside? They are more expensive to install and require reliable electrical power or backup generators to operate the remote valves during a power outage. For the water supply, these systems connect upstream of the water meter. We use OS&Y or butterfly valves so firefighters can instantly see if they are open. You need a minimum of 60 psi at the top of the standpipe, but if pressure exceeds 100 psi at an outlet, an approved pressure-reducing valve is required. At ground level, you will find fire department connections, like a Siamese connection. To prevent these exterior connections from freezing, an automatic drain valve called a ball drip is installed between the check valve and the FDC to keep the pipe absolutely dry when not in use. Standpipe systems are grouped into 3 distinct classes. These classifications are based entirely on the size of the fire hose valves and who is actually intended to use them during an emergency. Class I systems feature a 2.5-inch valve. These are strictly designed for the fire department or heavily trained personnel who will bring their own heavy-duty hoses to the site. Class II systems have a smaller 1.5-inch valve and usually come with a pre-connected hose stored in a cabinet. These are intended for building occupants to use in the early stages of a fire. Finally, Class III is a hybrid system. It has both valve sizes. Occupants can use the smaller hose initially, and when the fire department arrives, they simply disconnect it and detach their larger hoses to take over. To wrap up, choosing between a wet or dry system largely depends on the building environment and freezing risks. Always remember your pressure limits and ensure you understand the 3 classes of systems so the right people have the right tools during an emergency.